Tonic of sex, satire, and style at Japan Society. Our spring exhibition, Deco Japan, Shaping Art and Culture 1920 to 1945, introduces the little-known yet incredibly vibrant genre of Japanese Art Deco, where cosmopolitanism and militarism meet, bringing bold lines and splashy colors to life.
Now this is a very special show, not just because this is a whole aspect of Japanese art that we've really seen nothing of in New York before, but also because it operates on several different levels. We have a lot of what you might call high art, art made for the salon. From 1927 onwards, the salon was accessible to craft work as well as painting and sculpture. But at the same time, we have a lot of works in the show which don't belong to that category at all. We've got quite incidental things like sheet music covers, matchbox labels, postcards, posters, men's under kimono that show things like film posters, movie sets. And it's also an exhibition that's not just about style, but it's also about the, if you like, the sociology of Japan and the changing economy, the changing society, the changing expectations that people had at that time. And this screen shows one of the new fads of the 1930s, skiing. The clothing is completely Western. The picture has something of the air of a fashion poster rather than an actual portrait of a real person. But there's a lot of interesting imagery going on here which ties the contemporary young Japanese woman to tradition. First of all, if you look carefully, you'll see that although she has all the latest kit, it would seem that the ski poles, the ski sticks, are still made from bamboo. And this reference is underscored by, in the background there on the left, we see some sprouts of bamboo grass, sasa, poking up through the snow. Traditionally, one of the first harbingers of spring. The snow perhaps is also an emblem of the purity of this young Japanese woman. And the inclusion of this bamboo is a reminder that although she is engaged in this latest, trendy, hot new pursuit of skiing, she's also tied to her country's traditional cultural values. This is one of several paintings in the exhibition by an important artist, Emamoto Chikatoshi, and it was painted in about 1937 or slightly after that. And the title of the painting is Young Woman Adjusting Her Skis. One of the kind of signal products of the Art Deco movement is the small animal bronze. We see this in France at the very first Art Deco exhibition, the exhibition that gave the movement, gave the style its name in 1925. We see it in America, and also we see it in Japan. What changes, of course, it is in Japan, the choice of animal is different. This is a pair of fox spirits by Tsuba Shinobu, and the choice of subject matter is important too. Perhaps the most famous deco animal in the global deco tradition is the deer, the leaping deer, the so-called biche, that made its first appearance in 1925. But Tsuda has made here a very conscious choice of something much more quintessentially Japanese, because these are magic foxes. Magic foxes play a very important part in Japanese traditional folklore. Tsuda will go on to do a lot of very interesting work. He did a lion that we have in the exhibition. The first lion of his that we have in the exhibition is a real lion, like a zoo lion, and maybe it's also a little bit the MGM lion. The MGM lion first roared in 1932, and that's the date of the Tsuda lion in the exhibition. Then later on, he did a very ferocious Buddhist lion, which actually has its own title, Deluded Demons Run Away. and that work dates from 1937. That's the year that the Japanese invasion of China begins in earnest. This is an artist who was not only working in the cause of art for art's sake, if you like, he also, as time went by, he became a key player in the propaganda movement that underlay Japan's militaristic push into East Asia.
Star of this show is definitely the moga, or modern girl. This lover of late-night clubs and licentious revelry can be found throughout, with her bobbed hair, bright lips, and fashion-forward joie de vivre, with heels kicked up to jazz in the midnight air. As you can see, she's featured on everything from paintings and prints to photographs and figurines.
So this is an exhibition that's not just about the history of style and design, it's also about the history of lifestyle, and it's all about social change in the 1920s and 1930s. We're in a corner of the exhibition now that's about a phenomenon of the time called the moga, the modern girl, liberated young consuming girl, smoking, drinking, wearing high heels, lipstick, bobbed hair, and the sort of girl who would spend time in dance halls. This is a work by Enomoto Chikatoshi, an important painter whose works feature prominently throughout this exhibition, most of them very large compositions. And here we have 3 fan-shaped paintings from a group that he did that were a celebration of the ballroom Florida, one of the most fashionable gathering places in 1930s Tokyo. And the girls that you see here they're not actually consumers, they're workers. And one form of entertainment, although it was very highly regulated, was what's called in America the taxi dance. Girls who were there, who were available for dancing for hire, a dime for 10 minutes, for example. Here we see them waiting with the special purses that they had used to hold dance tickets, or right at the end, there's a special receptacle in which men will put the tickets next to the seat where the girl they wanted to dance with was sitting. In contrast to many of the moga, modern girls that we see in this exhibition, these girls look cynical, world-weary and hard, almost as hard as the furniture that surrounds them. The ballroom Florida was one of the most fashionable ballrooms in early 1930s Japan. It was constructed on the recommendation of a Japanese aristocrat who visited Paris, and its international clients included such famous figures as Douglas Fairbanks Jr. and Charlie Chaplin.
Stop by Japan Society on Saturday, May 5th between 7 p.m. and midnight for Dances of Vice, Deco Japan, and the Heart of the Modern Girl. We're co-presenting an event with Dances of Vice and the Art Deco Society of New York, which will feature live pre-war jazz, a moga fashion show, period dance lessons, and an hour open sake bar.